If you're struggling trading at all-time highs and you feel like you want to short the market all the time because the longs look difficult and you feel like it's just chasing price when you're all the time chasing along and it keeps on grinding up. In this video, I'm going to show you how I use order flow to spot these low volume nodes where I take my longs off of in the market, where I patiently wait for a pullback, and the market will always give a pullback, and that's the strongest area that you're going to look for those. That's exactly how I took this trade over here, all predicted and with very simple order flow confirmations, which I'm going to go over later in this video. This is one of my favorite setups to trade, especially around all-time highs, and this one got me one step closer to passing my FTMO challenge. So let's get right into it. So this right here is the trade that I took, and you might think, why am I entering here? Where does the stop loss go? Why am I entering in this structure and not waiting for a deeper pullback? I'm gonna go over this right now using the bookmap. That's what I use for my confirmation as well. And then together with how I came up with this level is the volume profile, which you can see right over here. So let's get right into it, and I'm going to show you my pre-market plan, how I predicted this trade idea or this scenario, and then as well how I shared it with my members that I took this and the targets that I was going for, which was a high day in this case. So first of all, this was the 8th of May. As you can see, I share my pre-market plan here right before market open. I wanted to look for mainly buys because we were at all-time highs. As you can see in the pre-market, everything is bullish structure is holding. So shorts are almost completely out of my mind unless we get like a massive sell-off, then I might be able to look for short. But in this case, just longs, and there were two scenarios. Either we pull back inside of low volume nodes of the overnight session, or we break out above the previous day high and then we start supporting over there. Now, just for context, here is the pre-market of the 8th of May. This is how structure is looking, just very bullish, a very slow uptrend in the pre-market, taking out all-time highs right before market open. So I was looking for low volume node pullbacks right over here and right over here. These were the areas that I was going to look for pullbacks, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Barely got a pullback. Market just opened up and ripped up. So now that you know how the pre-market looked and what I was actually looking for and how I came up with my plan just to look for buys, let's go into the lower time frame and the actual confirmation that I needed for this trade. Now that you know that the pre-market was just bullish, very nice, simple uptrend, the market opened up and just straight up rocketed to the upside, making new all-time highs. It's clearly that bulls are in control. We're above all the VWAPs, we're above overnight VWAP, we're above New York session VWAP. Let me look for intraday low volume nodes of the New York session to look for a pullback and getting long. So new highs were made, high day is right over here, and you can clearly see that the volume profile is very wavy. When the volume profile is very wavy, what do I mean with this? Well, you can see these bulges of volume building and then leaving areas of lower volume as well, and then making other bulges with more volume. This is a wavy volume profile, and to me this is an indication of a trending day. Buyers are in control in this case and leaving areas of lower volume. These are all areas where I would look for potential longs, and in this case it worked out, and that's what we're going to go into right now. This is the nearest area of low volume. We're in a bullish structure. We're very close to New York VWAP. You don't have to wait for that New York VWAP to get the support there because it's not going to happen every single time. So for me to give that extra confirmation, because I would have preferred it to be on top of the New York session VWAP, that will give me some extra confidence in the trade. Price dropped right into this low volume node and gave basically an entry signal, right? You see seller absorption here. You can see that on the book map as well, which I'll get into in a second. But why did I not enter on the first test? After seeing seller absorption here at the low and aggressive buying right after, why did I not enter as soon as I saw that? Well, because I had VWAP right under me. I wanted a little bit of extra confirmation that buyers were really wanting to defend this area. So I waited. Price did rally a little bit, but not enough at all to actually take some profits or go break even at least. So I waited, and I wanted to see more confirmations that buyers were actually in control. So then we pulled back again into that low volume node. We didn't build volume. The low volume node stayed right there. As you can see, if I extend this, the low volume node stayed there. So that's a good sign. If we build volume inside of the low volume node, that would be a bad sign. So the buyer stayed in control and reacted aggressively once again, and you can see the strong buyer here as well, reacting and defending the level. Then we rallied up once again right into this resistance here, and I was like, all right, now buyers have proven their strength. Let me now look for pullbacks to get in and join the momentum of the strong buyers. Then we pulled back and saw this aggressive seller over here getting trapped, and then strong buyers came in. That's where I was like, all right, this is my cue to get in now. The low volume node proved its strength, and now I can join the momentum of the buyers, targeting this structure over here and then high day right after. And that's exactly what happened. As you can see here, when I post my updates in the Discord, I was like, I'm in this right now. This is the confirmation that I used, which I'll show you now in a second as well. On the book map, here is what I was looking like while I was in the trade. trade, and then yeah, the low volume node. And here I got out. I took a partial right when I saw some sellers trying to step in and consolidating right below high day, and then I got my final target when high day got broken. Let's go over Bookmap. This was the first entry signal that you saw with the trapped seller, but we had New York VWAP right below us. So I wanted a little bit more confirmation that buyers were actually there and ready to defend this level. As you can see, this is a massive seller. And what happened when we pulled back? Now you saw the first trade would have been a loss. If you had your stop loss right under here, that would have been a loss. You got wicked out. So that's why I wanted that extra confirmation, because we had VWAP so close to us in that low volume. Now I wanted extra confirmation and enter with buying momentum. I didn't want to catch the bottom of this move. I wanted to enter when buyers were proving their strength and catch that momentum. So here, that was the first kind of entry signal, which I didn't take, gave the reaction, pulled back, and you see that the selling is much lower here. The selling bubble is much smaller than this one. So that means the sellers are not really as strong and they're not willing or strong enough to break this level. Buyers react again. You can see strong buying came in right over here in that resistance level again. And then I saw these pullbacks here basically do nothing. The sellers were very weak. You can see at every bottom of the pullback here, there's basically no sellers. So that's when I decided to join in once we started breaking up to the upside with momentum above these previous highs that you saw on the chart as well. When we started breaking above that and strong buying started coming in, that's where I got long here around the 107s, 108s, and just targeting a high day break. And you can see that strong buying came in right after. As soon as these sellers got trapped, we got above these little previous highs and resistance, and then strong buying came in ready to take out that high day, and there you go. Just a very clean textbook setup that I like to use at all-time highs. This is what you gotta look for at all-time highs. Stop thinking about shorts, just focus on longs unless we have a massive sell-off. We go below the previous day low, then you can start looking for some short opportunities or ideas. But if that doesn't happen, focus just on mainly longs. Give your stop loss a little bit more room. Wait for that pullback patiently. Otherwise, if you're chasing a breakout trade, that usually is gonna end up being a stop loss, especially for me. If I'm chasing a breakout over here, well, I'm not going to get a lot of profit, or I'm either going to get stopped out. I'm going to let the market go up and then I'm going to let it pull back, because the pullbacks can be very impulsive. As you can see here, you go to the high and then suddenly 4 or 5 candles go into that low volume node very aggressively for buyers to reload. So if you have any questions about this setup, please let me know in the comments. Make sure to check out my Discord community as well, where I share these levels and these trade ideas every single day. And also, if you're new to order flow and you want to learn more about how I view the markets and how I use all these concepts like the big trades indicator or the volume profile, low volume node, make sure to check out my free PDF where I go over my strategy step by step in the description of this video. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.